Kenya's population has been growing, changing, and creating new opportunities and challenges. The Kenya Population Situation Analysis Report 2025 reveals how fertility, youth, and environmental pressures are shaping national development and why urgent action matters. This critical report will be launched by the National Council for Population and Development in collaboration with the National Treasury and Economic Planning, AFIDEP, RHNK, and development partners under the theme Population at the Center of Development. Our population, our prosperity, our responsibility. Honorable FCPA John Badi Ngongo, Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning, is the chief guest. Watch the launch live from Panari Hotel on the 18th of February 2026 from 8 a.m. on the website www.ncpd.go.ke, www.kbc.co.ke, on YouTube at NCPD Kenya and KBC Kenya, and on Facebook at National Council for Population and Development and Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. NCPD. Our population, our prosperity, our responsibility.
Yes, hello. Naongea na Jen.
Naongea na nani?
Yes, Jen. Tuko hapo kwako tunakata stima. Hii bili yako hujalipa.
Hai, kwani mnakata stima na Friday afternoon?
Yes, madam. Tunafanya kazi kila siku. Lakini usikuwe na wasiwasi. Hapa tunaweza saidiana.
Kims, nikatie stima hii weekend mimi.
Haina wasiwasi. Ukitupatia kama 2k ya lunch, tunaweza acha kukata, sisi turudi ofisi.
Mimi niko na 1k tu.
Basi tuma 1500 tumalizane.
Sawa.
Umesikia? Wanajaribu kuchezea Jen hapa game rough kuruka. Sikiza. Hakuna mtu anafaa kukupigia simu akuambia ulipe kitu kidogo ama utoweka kitu ya lunch ati ndio usikatiwe stima. Na kama kuna mtu anakupigia akidai ati kwamba uko na deni, kata hiyo simu haraka.
Oh, kumbe mlikuwa mnataka tu mniponde.
Tumekuja kuwashika. Boda boss utamulikwa. Tumekuja kuwashika.
The government pledges decisive action against a foreign national for secretly recording and sharing intimate images of Kenyan women. And on the cabinet tonight, we profile a teacher turned politician who once managed a key government docket. This and much more coming up on Prime Edition, but first, the highlights.
Indeed, we have an ongoing strike action.
Aviation crisis. Passengers are stranded at airports across Kenya as aviation workers go on strike over terms of service.
Huyu Inspector General atujibu kwa nini polisi wanavamia kanisa zetu.
SK Witima church attack. Opposition leaders accuse the state of weaponizing the police service.
I will be making a trip to Moscow, as I indicated, next month. And the issues there, we shall be able to speak directly with our counterparts and the authorities in Russia.
Plus, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi to travel to Russia to rescue Kenyans trapped in the Russia-Ukraine war. Good evening. We have also the latest in the world of business and sports. Talk to us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Our sign language expert tonight is Anne Wangeshi. My colleague Tom Boyer is away this evening. I am Muchuma Odim. A number of passengers were stranded at airports across Kenya as aviation workers went on strike over terms of service. Jomo Kenyatta International Airport was the worst hit by the industrial action as several flights were delayed or rescheduled with long queues witnessed around the airport. Kenya Aviation Workers Union Secretary General Moses Ndiema has warned of a full-scale strike as Kenya Airport Authority workers are expected to join the striking Kenya Civil Aviation Authority workers from Tuesday. This report begins our coverage tonight.
Kenya Civil Aviation Authority workers in airports across Kenya, including the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, went on strike from Monday, disrupting normal flight operations. Long queues and gatherings were witnessed at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport as airlines rescheduled or delayed flights. Kenya Aviation Workers Union say there will be a full-scale strike from Tuesday as Kenya Airports Authority workers are expected to join the strike.
In essence, it will get worse by evening. By tomorrow, everything will come to a halt completely.
Union officials are accusing the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority and the Kenya Airports Authority for implementing human resource instrument without the input of workers, yet salaries could be affected while some employees could be barred from joining unions, among other grievances.
The issue around the HR tools, they have to drop whatever they did, where we made it had no involvement from the union. They have to agree to discard it, and we have to agree to conclude all the pending CBAs within the shortest time possible. In any case, not more than 2 weeks.
Kenya Civil Aviation Authority says it is open to negotiations, assuring airlines that critical aviation safety and air navigation functions remain operational.
None of the two entities, not KCA and not KAA, ever invited us for any engagement. They did not want. They did not want.
In a statement to newsrooms, the Kenya Airports Authority said contingency measures had been initiated to avert any crisis. Benson Rioba, reporting for Prime Edition.
From the aviation strike to politics, the united opposition leaders, including former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka, have accused Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja of allegedly choosing to avoid a meeting with them over the ACK Witima Church attack. Addressing rallies in various parts of the city, the leaders accused the state of weaponizing the National Police Service.
DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua is accusing the Inspector General of Police of turning his back on the faithful, whose worship was cut short by an attack on Witima ACK Church in Nyeri County.
Huyu Inspector General atujibu kwa nini polisi wanavamia kanisa zetu.
After the much publicized march on Jogoo House failed to yield a face-to-face meeting with Douglas Kanja, the united opposition took to various streets within the capital to voice their disgust over the handling of security matters in the country.
Siku ya Ijumaa tutarudi hapo Jogoo House tukiandamana na wananchi. Lazima wewe na maafisa wako mwajibike, haki ya Mungu hata ukikimbia.
The opposition is accusing the government of using the police to scuttle peaceful assemblies.
Police kusukuma magoons wawe goon na ujui tofauti ya goon na police. Hiyo yote ni mambo ya terrorism.
People imagine they can manage how Kenyans think and associate using tear gas.
On Sunday, a rally organized by a section of ODM passive rebels ended in disarray after the police lobbed tear gas to disperse a crowd that had gathered to listen to the politicians. The melee left a mechanic identified as Vincent Nayomo dead and scores of others injured. Traders in Kitengela say the chaos led to destruction of property, theft and fears over a repeat of the incident.
Aipoa ikuja ifuatilie juu risasi ziko zenye zilipiga ujamaa.
The Independent Policing Oversight Authority says it has launched investigations into the incident. Give us Nmaina, Prime Edition.
On to a story we highlighted for you at the beginning of the broadcast. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi says he is set to travel to Russia next month to engage directly with the Russian authorities to secure a safe return of Kenyans trapped in the Ukraine-Russia war. Mudavadi made the remarks amid growing concerns that the government may be reluctant to investigate the recruitment of Kenyans into the Russian army.
The Kenyan government has acknowledged the presence of Kenyans in the Russian-Ukrainian war. After weeks of pressure from those whose loved ones are trapped on the front lines, the Kenyan government says it's ready to bring them home. 82 Kenyans are believed to be trapped or stranded in Russia. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi said he will travel to Russia next month to secure the safe return of those who may be in distress.
I will be making a trip to Moscow, as I indicated, next month. The issues there, we shall be able to speak directly with our counterparts and the authorities in Russia.
The internet has been awash with images of Kenyans believed to be actively participating in the war in Ukraine, with some believed to have unknowingly signed up for the war. Families whose loved ones have either died or have been coerced into joining the Russians in the war have been demanding action from the Kenyan government. The announcement by Mudavadi may perhaps bring some much-needed relief to the families. Meanwhile, Kenya and Egypt have agreed to deepen their economic cooperation by creating an enabling business environment. On Monday, Musalia Mudavadi and Egyptian Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Badr Abdelati encouraged the private sector to leverage synergies, diversify traded products, and fast-track the establishment of a Kenya-Egypt Joint Business Council.
In our engagement, we emphasize the need to streamline trade, address various issues, trade facilitation, inefficiencies, and to unlock the economic resilience and shared prosperity.
His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi of the Arab Republic of Egypt personally oversees our efforts towards the further advancement of our bilateral relations, not only on the political level, but also and notably in trade, economic, investment, and cultural relationship.
Tilio Marco for Prime Edition.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission says there are ongoing consultations with the State Department of Immigration and Citizen Services on possibilities of establishing a dedicated application programming interface linked to the Integrated Population Registration System for identification validation. The move, according to the electoral body, will enhance voter identification and create an accurate voter register. Here is that report.
The Commission is calling on stakeholders, especially the political actors, to refrain from uncorroborated, inflammatory and divisive statements that not only undermine the integrity of electoral processes, but also the independence of the Commission. IEBC in a statement says, contrary to unfounded allegations, that the move to work with the Department of Immigration and Citizen Service is to facilitate electoral malpractices. The integration will allow real-time validation of national ID cards and passports against the Master Population Register, ensuring that only legitimate identification documents are used during voter registration. The Commission says in fulfilling the constitutional and statutory mandate, it is required to work with relevant government agencies that are the lawful custodians of relevant data for accuracy. The Commission says a register of voters remains exclusively under its custody and control. This as the United Green Movement Party leader David Maraga, who was in Meru, criticized the decision to place voter registration stations in constituency offices instead of moving them closer to the people, saying this will lock out many from registering as voters due to logistical challenges.
My appeal is to IEBC and the registrar of persons to get to where the people are. And it's not difficult. It's a question of announcing that they are going to such a market center. This week, they go there and register, move from one place to the other. Government services are supposed to be taken to the people. It is not the people who should spend the little they have to go and seek government services.
Michael Mondiga for Prime Edition.
The government has vowed decisive action against a foreign national accused of secretly recording and circulating intimate images of Kenyan women without their consent, terming the act a gross violation of personal dignity and privacy as protected under Articles 28 and 31 of the Constitution. Government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura noted that security, investigative and prosecutorial agencies have been directed to urgently pursue the matter, working jointly with the international authorities due to its cross-border nature. The suspect is expected to face charges under the Penal Code and the Computer Misuse of Cyber Crimes Act.
What is your name?
Gentrix.
Gentrix. Nice to meet you. My name is Yaitseslav. I'm from Russia.
The indecent exposure of Kenyan women by an alleged Russian tourist has sparked outrage in the country. On Monday, the government announced that steps are underway to ensure accountability and bring the so-called Russian guy to book. Speaking during the weekly press briefing, government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura noted that the government has tasked the Ministry of Gender, Culture and Children Services with strengthening online safety policies and enhancing protection against digital exploitation.
Tunataka kukashifu kama serikali tabia mbaya ya yule mtu tuliyemwona yule Mrusi akisumbua mama wetu hapa. Hilo sio jambo ambalo ni nzuri hata kidogo, lakini tujipende sisi, tujipende kama Waafrika.
A man identifying himself as a Russian recorded his encounter with Kenyan women and posted the videos online, sparking outrage and demands for accountability.
Tunaweza kufanya mambo makubwa, lakini hii nchi yetu itaendelezwa kwa hulka na heba njema na tabia nzuri. Haitaendelea kwa sababu ya miundo msingi tu, miundo mbinu, la hasha.
Victims have been encouraged to seek support through the National Gender-Based Violence Toll-Free Helpline 1195. Jacqueline Masharia for Prime Edition.
13 minutes past the top of the hour. Thank you for keeping it Prime Edition. We are taking our first commercial break. When we return, we'll be bringing you more details with the clarity you deserve. Stay with us.
Halo, habari ndugu. Unaongea na Geoffrey hapa.
Habari Geoffrey.
Mimi nakupigia kuhusu ile request yako ya kupata connection ya stima. Sisi tunaweza kufanyia deal, ulipe pesa kidogo tu.
When the deal is too good, think twice.
Lakini kitu moja inanitangaza na wewe. Hii ni kuhatarisha maisha yenu nyinyi wenyewe na pia ya wale mnaenda kutokea kwa manyumba zao.
We are diving into the mind.
Stay vigilant to get safely and legally connected to the power grid.
Koti hii imewapata na hatia na mkiwa mkuridhika na uamuzi wa koti mko na siku 14 za kurudisha apili.
Shortcut ni ya wakora. Malipo yote ya Kenya Power hupitia channels rasmi peke yake.
We mzee, hizo ni gani unajaribu kutufanyia?
Tumekuja kuwashika, muda boss utamulikwa. Tumekuja kuwashika.
It's all about the Lovers' Day, man. We're talking about Valentine's.
And good vibes. Shout out to Sprite.
Everybody's laughing. Come on, let me see you jump.
Every move is created in real time. Every reaction from the crowd shapes what happens next. Because in the cipher, the spotlight isn't assigned, it is earned.
In life, it's either two things. Either you live long or you die young. So if you're asked if you want to live long or die young, what would you choose?
Of what?
Of life.
Celebration.
A celebration of life.
Welcome back to Prime Edition. Continue talking to us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. On to other developments, the government has reaffirmed its commitment to ending female genital mutilation and early forced marriages by 2030. A program funded by the Dutch is being implemented in Kenya, Ethiopia and Somalia to counter the vice by protecting the vulnerable and training communities on the dangers of retrogressive cultural practices and norms. Here is that report.
As of today, the prevalence rates of female genital mutilation and early marriages in Kenya stands at 15% and 13% respectively. In Ethiopia, 65% and 40%, while Somalia records 99% of FGM and 45% of early and forced marriages.
In counties like Wajir and Mandera, Marsabit, Garissa, the prevalence remains at near 79 to 80%.
The launch of Future for Binti program, funded by the Dutch government to the tune of $59 million over the next 5 years, is aimed at accelerating the efforts of eradicating the vice and enable young women live to their full potential.
This is not only about policies and programs, it is about saving lives, it is about dignity, it is about opportunity.
The program integrates access to health services and prevention of harmful cultural practices, with civil society organizations playing a central role.
And working closely with other development partners to bring the statistics to zero by 2030.
At the Future for Binti program coming in 4 years to 2030, for me it is the last kick of a dying horse. I'm hoping that we should be zero by 2030.
In Kenya, there are 22 counties with high prevalence, with government emphasizing in sustained collaboration, better data systems, early reporting, and youth leadership to ensure no girl is left behind. Kamchemenza for Prime Edition.
Let's now take you to the corridors of justice. 3 Kenyans wanted in the United States over alleged cybercrime offenses will be the guests of the state for the next 14 days before their extradition. Trial Magistrate Irene Tamara was informed that the federal grand jury sitting in Richmond, Virginia, United States, has issued a warrant of arrest against the trio. The prosecution also informed the court that an Interpol red notice issued on the alleged offenses corresponds to offenses under Section 28, 29, and 30 of Kenya's Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act. Details in the Scales of Justice segments.
Not addressed before.
Elvis Obaigwa, Peter Omari, and Francis Osanyo have been detained for a fortnight, awaiting extradition protocol to the USA. On Monday, the ODPP told the court that the indictment was reportedly made by a federal grand jury sitting in Richmond, Virginia in November 2023, and a warrant of arrest subsequently issued.
By virtue of the red notice alert and the warrant of arrest being issued and the indictment.
But through their counsels, the trio had the court not to detain them, arguing that their constitutional rights had been violated and no compelling reasons had been presented.
This is not what the Americans are coming to investigate here. It is the Kenyans who have taken up this matter and they're telling you they want to investigate.
The case will be mentioned on that March this year.
I reiterate the compelling reasons for the custodial orders in this case is that there exist the arrest warrants, the red alert against the 3 respondents issued by another state.
Elsewhere, the High Court has set 25th March as the hearing date of a case where Safaricom PLC has been sued for failure to reverse or refund money sent erroneously to a recipient. In court documents, the petitioner Eunice Nganga claimed that Safaricom policy of deducting and retaining money sent erroneously to a Fuliza customer breaches constitutional, statutory, and common law duty of care.
That's a refund to my money, and a restitution in rem. That's a refund to any other claimant who may not necessarily be a part of this suit, even though we intend to seek leave and call for joiners in the class suit.
Justice Lawrence Mugambi has ordered that the document be served in the next 14 days before the matter comes up for pre-trial. Ruth Owamboy for Prime Edition.
From the courts, let's now take you to the counties. Residents of Tana River County have been urged to register for the Social Health Authority SHA insurance scheme to ensure they receive quality and reliable medical services. This and more stories in the news roundup.
Speaking in Hola Town, Tana River County Senator Danson Mungatana has emphasized that the government aims to ensure healthcare services are accessible to citizens, which is a key pillar for community development.
Hii ni government policy kwa sababu hatutaki watu wetu wakuwe maskini kwa ajili ya mambo ya hospitali.
Elsewhere, the Principal Secretary in the State Department for Public Service and Human Capital Development, Dr. Jane Imbunya, has called on human resource practitioners who have not enrolled in the Certified Human Resource Professional course to do so.
I encourage all of you, because very soon we'll draw a circular which will require everybody who wants to call themselves a practitioner of HR to have a CHRP. Please do it now before there is a rush.
We are going to work with the board and make sure that we walk with them through on the certification process so that we can have those public servants who have the experience.
Meanwhile, Meru County Governor Linda Kiome has urged youths to be at the forefront in leadership, both in county and national seats. She spoke when she presided over the swearing-in of the Meru County Youth Assembly officials.
Iyo kazi ya kuenda kupeana maoni yenu, iyo kazi ya kuenda kusema hii budget ya county ya next year, pesa ya youth iko wapi, munafanyia nini? That is the work that you're supposed to do.
As we take the oath of office today, let it be known that this assembly is not just a symbol of youth leadership. It is a promise that we, the young people of Meru County, are ready to lead with integrity, courage, and unity.
Reporting for KBC, I am Joy Naomi.
Tonight on the Cabinet, we profile a teacher turned politician who rose from rural Meru to become one of President Daniel Arap Moi's most trusted lieutenants in Mount Kenya region. He served as assistant minister, cabinet minister, and later he held one of the most sensitive dockets in government, internal security. This is the story of Jackson Itirithia Kalweo.
Jackson Itirithia Kalweo was born in 1937 in Igembe, in present-day Meru County. He attended Maua Primary School between 1951 and 1956 before proceeding to Kathayene Intermediate School in 1957. He later joined Meru Teacher Training College, where he qualified as a P3 teacher and taught at several primary schools across Meru district. As a music and dance teacher, he was a distinguished choir master. At Antobochu Primary School, the last institution where he taught, his choir's experience attracted the attention of President Jomo Kenyatta, who routinely invited the children and their teacher to perform at State House and his Gatende home. Kalweo thus became a frequent visitor to State House, interacting with senior political leaders. Encouraged by Kenyatta and emboldened by his growing public profile, he entered elective politics in 1969, contesting the Igembe parliamentary seat. He lost that election to Joseph Mutoria. In 1974, however, Kalweo defeated Mutoria and became Member of Parliament for Nyambani North. Following the 1979 general election, President Daniel Arap Moi appointed him Assistant Minister for Culture and Social Services. He was serving his second term in Parliament, but his political fortunes were dimmed in 1984 when his name appeared in the controversial Jonjo Commission of Inquiry established to investigate former Constitutional Affairs Minister Charles Jonjo, whom Moi had accused of plotting to overthrow the government. Kalweo was dismissed from government and expelled from KANU. In the 1983 general election, he lost his parliamentary seat to Joseph Muchuma, the same man he had defeated in 1974. He remained politically isolated and was pardoned in time for the 1988 elections, where a newcomer, Joseph Malebe, won the Nyambene North seat. After the election, Kalweo successfully applied for readmission into KANU and won the party's Zigembe constituency chairmanship, marking his political comeback. In the lead-up to the first multi-party elections in 1992, President Moi publicly declared Kalweo his political appointment in Meru at a rally in Mau Stadium. Kalweo secured the KANU ticket and defeated his rival Erastus Mbabu, who had defected to the Democratic Party. President Moi appointed him Minister for Culture and Social Services, making him the first minister from Meru North. He was later transferred to the office of the President as Minister of State for Internal Security and Provincial Administration, one of the most powerful positions in government. Working closely with Moi, Kalweo oversaw development initiatives in Igembe, including projects implemented by Plan International, such as the Kawero Water Project, boreholes, kettle dips, and markets. These projects transformed the region's infrastructure and became key campaign tools for Kalweo. As Internal Security Minister, however, Kalweo faced fierce opposition in Parliament. His critics accused the government of failing to address ethnic violence, including the Likoni clashes in 1997. Kalweo defended the government vigorously, despite heckling from opposition members of Parliament. On the ground, his influence in Meru grew significantly. He was instrumental in the creation of Nyambene district in 1993, alongside other new administrative units. These new districts created jobs and expanded government presence, strengthening KANU's political base. Kalweo consolidated his political dominance, securing his re-election in 1997. Following that victory, President Moi appointed him Minister for Health. During his tenure, the ministry faced allegations of corruption in the procurement and supply of drugs to public hospitals, claims Kalweo denied. But by 2002, the political tide had shifted. President Moi's endorsement of Uhuru Kenyatta as his successor proved unpopular in Mount Kenya region. Kalweo also faced criticism over his leadership style and alleged misuse of provincial administration to influence elections. He lost his parliamentary seat in the 2002 general election to Kiraito Marungi, who was backed by the opposition National Rainbow Coalition led by Kibaki. Following his defeat, Kalweo retired from politics. Jackie Wambiru, The Cabinet.
Thank you for keeping it Prime Edition. Time for us now to shift to business news. Betty Kiptum is on set. Betty, what is making news in the world of tourism?
Well, there's been a conference on matters resilience and sustainability, and they're talking about using AI to ensure that the tourism sector remains resilient, and misinformation is tackled. That story will be coming up in a little bit. My name is Betty Kiptum, as my colleague said. This is our first story here on the Business News. Kenya has intensified efforts to secure its removal from the global anti-money laundering grey list. National Treasury Principal Secretary, that is Dr. Chris Kipto, says Kenya is accelerating reforms aimed at restoring confidence in the country's financial system to protect the ability to attract investment, maintain creditworthiness, and support financial market stability.
Kenya has been on the grey list of the Financial Action Task Force since February 2024, a designation that can increase transaction costs, limit correspondent banking relationships, and weigh on foreign investor confidence. Following this, the National Treasury maintains that the reforms are critical to securing Kenya's exit from the list and restoring its standing in the global financial system.
Our country has made commendable progress in addressing the strategic deficiencies identified by the Financial Action Task Force.
Dr. Kipto says key legislative reforms have already been enacted, including the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Financing Laws Amendment Act of 2025 and the Virtual Asset Service Providers Act of 2025. The measures are designed to close regulatory gaps, strengthen oversight of high-risk sectors, and align Kenya's anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing framework with international standards.
We really need to work hard. I am not sure we can have the opportunity to have the grey listing period extended. We can't have.
He says the strengthened cooperation among government agencies is key in fast-tracking reforms and improving enforcement across key financial and high-risk sectors.
So we have to use this time to work extra hard to make sure we comply. So we are going to work with individual principals. Ahmed, we have to work together. DCI, all of us work to see that each of the measures or the things you are supposed to do, you do them.
Ndotamo Kami for Prime Edition.
And now to that tourism story I had alluded to earlier. Kenya plans to leverage artificial intelligence to counter misinformation and disinformation that is threatening tourism globally amid increasing cases of ransomware attacks and data breaches targeting reservations, payments, airports and hotel operations. Tourism Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano says the focus is on apps and AI-powered tools for guidance, alerts, training, as well as decision support tools that will help operators during crisis.
According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, crisis perception, not actual risk, drives up to 70% of travel decision changes during disruptions. This is because false information spreads 6 times faster than verified information on social platforms and reaches up to 100,000 persons before factual corrections catch up.
The modern traveler convenience, but convenience with becomes vulnerability. Today means the destination infrastructure, but the destination's information space. Not only the tourism, but the tourism reputation.
Countries are shoring up capacity to counter digitally driven perception crisis by leveraging artificial intelligence.
Our ultimate goal should be meaningfully in creating safety nets, likely shocks, as a way of sustainable global recovery. We should aspire to a tourism sector that is stronger, greener, and more inclusive.
We will together as one. I'm sure we will transform the world into a very resilient in everything that we do.
The Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary describes misinformation as an economic risk, emphasizing that destinations are now judged not only by safety but by the stories told about their safety.
Stakeholders are speaking in unison that the global tourism sector remains very susceptible to including factors such as health as well as geopolitics, with a clarion call to undertake decisions that revolve around resilience backed by technology. I'm Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1.
Yes, hello. Naongea na Jen.
Naongea na nani?
Yes, Jen. Tuko hapo kwako tunakata stima. Hii bili yako hujalipa.
Ai, kwani mnakata stima na Friday afternoon?
Yes, madam. Tunafanya kazi kila siku. Lakini usikuwe na wasiwasi. Hapa tunaweza saidia.
When the deal is too good, think twice.
Lakini kitu moja inanitangaza na wewe.
Hii ni kuhatarisha maisha yenu nyi wenyewe na pia ya wale mnaenda kutokea kwa manyumba zao.
We are diving into the mind.
Stay vigilant to get safely and legally connected to the power grid.
Koti hii imewapata na hatia na mkiwa mkuridhika na uamuzi wa koti mko na siku 14 za kurudisha apili.
Na kama kuna mtu anakupigia akidai ati kwamba uko na deni, kata hiyo simu haraka.
Oh, kumbe mlikuwa mnataka tu mniponde.
Tumekuja kuwashika. Muda boss utamulikwa. Tumekuja kuwashika.
The wrath of Mother Nature. 10 counties are on the brink, with over 10 million people in need of food aid. Livestock is dying, and children are being driven out of schools as drought batters the nation. We go beyond the headlines with reporters on the ground in Turkana, Wajir, Tana River, and Kitui counties for an in-depth look at the evolving humanitarian, economic, and environmental impact on communities across the country. Tune in to KBC Channel 1 on Thursday the 19th February for a comprehensive news coverage on the drought situation in the country.
Welcome back. You're watching Prime Edition now. The Pest Control Products Board has raised concerns over infiltration of contraband pest control products, including those withdrawn from the Kenyan market on safety concerns. As Ben Troinjue narrates, the board is advising members of the public to verify products before purchasing.
There are some contraband pest control products in circulation and use in Kenya without the authorization of the Pest Control Products Board.
These pesticides are putting a lot of risk to the consumers of those produce. And locally, and even when it goes to for a foreign market, we are losing that market because
officials are pursuing unscrupulous traders selling the harmful and illegal products. They have cautioned the public against purchasing counterfeit Gladiator 4TC, which was withdrawn in 2021 due to safety concerns.
There are some traders who are making these concoctions around Nairobi and distributing to the users largely through the underwear shops. And the mode of transport is mainly through the courier system, making it difficult for PCB inspectors to intercept that product.
The board says analysis of samples indicate that some products contain kerosene and other substances, making them fake and unsafe.
We have arrested many people who are doing this product, and even those who are using it, because it's no longer allowed for use in the country. It was intended to, or its purpose was to manage termites in construction, but the analysis that we've done in our lab, there is no active ingredient that is going to manage the termites. So any person who is applying this product is losing all the wooden structures.
For Prime Edition, I'm Ben Troinjue.
Now, startups developing solutions which require user data protection should ensure they align with local laws before rolling them out. Speakers at the Cardano Africa Tech Summit in Nairobi urged innovators to register their solutions with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner to mitigate risks linked to data misuse. ICT Secretary Mary Karema said the government is keen on ensuring emerging technologies are used in a safe manner.
We're trying to ensure that there is cybersecurity, tools, systems that can really be able to ensure that our citizens, as they go to use these emerging technologies, they are safe.
You need to come out, register with the government, register with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner. Tell us who you are, what you're doing, what data are you collecting, how are you processing it, where are you storing it. So it's just to understand what kind of data you're collecting, what you're doing with that data.
Any new emerging technology, you need consumer protection, you need clarity, you cannot leave businesses and capitalism to its own device.
And trade leaders are warning that delays in implementing the African Continental Free Trade Area are stalling Africa's economic momentum, urging governments to fast-track reforms to unlock intra-African trade. Speakers led by Institute of Economic Affairs Chief Executive Officer, that is Kwame Owino, said accelerating implementation of AfCFTA alongside digital transformation and higher production standards are key to integrating Africa into global value chains.
For us to come and address the challenges behind the stalling in implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area and having a discussion to come up with recommendations and solutions in order for us to be able to steer the implementation of the AfCFTA.
The political sides, which are more hesitant and want to be more tentative about the pace, seems to be winning against a very, very ambitious economic argument.
We also have to be able to play in the global value chains where we're able to input things, which means the quality of our goods also has to be big.
We just need to ensure that our people are more productive in doing business and working on removing the barriers to the entry to businesses and also maintaining and managing their businesses.
And that is the business news this evening. Sports news is coming up with Daniel Wahome. My name is Betty Kiptum. Good night.
The wrath of Mother Nature. 10 counties are on the brink, with over 10 million people in need of food aid. Livestock is dying, and children are being driven out of schools as drought batters the nation. We go beyond the headlines with reporters on the ground in Turkana, Wajir, Tana River, and Kitui counties for an in-depth look at the evolving humanitarian, economic, and environmental impact on communities across the country. Tune in to KBC Channel 1 on Thursday, the 19th February for a comprehensive news coverage on the drought situation in the country.
A very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Prime Edition Sport. Alvin Evans and co-driver Scott Martin will return to Naivasha next month to defend their WRC Safari Rally Kenya title. Sitting at the top of the drivers' standings, the Safari Rally Kenya will be held from the 12th to the 15th of March in Naivasha.
Elfin Evans, driving for Toyota Gazoo Racing, won the 2025 Safari Rally Kenya after beating closest rival Ot Tanak of Hyundai Racing Team. Evans will return to Kenya sitting at the top of the standings after the first 2 rounds of Rally Monte Carlo and Rally Sweden with a total of 60 points, 13 points above Rally Monte Carlo winner Oliver Solberg, who's second, while Takamoto Katsuta is third with 30 points. Evans won Rally Sweden over the weekend, leading home a remarkable Toyota Gazoo Racing 1-2-3-4 with Takamoto Katsuta, Sami Payari and Oliver Solberg following in that order. The Safari Rally Kenya, which is the 3rd round on the WRC series, will be held from the 12th to 15th March in Naivasha.
And moving on is that an ultra-modern sports stadium will be constructed in Thika by the national government in collaboration with the county government of Kiambu. The 10,000-seater stadium will be built at a cost of 850 million shillings. Defense Cabinet Secretary Soipu Antria described the state-of-the-art facility as a transformative project that will change the face of Thika by boosting sports development and creating employment opportunities. Sports Cabinet Secretary Salim Buria, on his part, opined that the project is part of the government's broader nationwide program to construct and upgrade sports facilities in the country before the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations, to be jointly hosted by Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania.
Hii Thika na Kiambu, wakati Kenya inaendelea kwa michezo, hapa Kiambu isiachwe nyuma, iwe katikati kwa maendeleo ya Kenya. Wakati tunakamilisha ile stadium pale ya Talanta ya mashabiki 60,000, hapa napo ni lazima kuwe na kiwanja ya kisasa.
Construction ambayo imefanyika kwa hii uwanja, kuna stalls, tumeambiwa ni 600 stalls. Kuna hiyo basketball coach, kuna hiyo swimming pool na any other development kwa stadium hii. Hakuna moja yao itakayobomolewa.
And a grassroots football club in Kenya County is celebrating a major financial boost after receiving prize money from the Minji Minji Football Cup. Spartan FC from FC Kiburu, which finished 4th in the county finals held at the Wangoro Stadium in December 2025, was awarded $500,000 shillings by Governor Anne Waiguru. The club says the funds have helped ease long-standing financial challenges, enabling them to cater for travel, equipment and player welfare. Part of the money has also supported players' education, including clearing school fees for one team member. Club officials say the tournament has not only strengthened grassroots football, but has also helped keep young people engaged and away from social vices. Spartak now hopes to build on the momentum as they continue competing in local leagues.
We have increased the cash awards this year. Last year we had 7.24 million shillings for the tournament. This year we are giving 7.73 million shillings. The winning team today will be awarded 1.5 million shillings.
Kiangalia hizo team zingine zina withdraw from regionals juu ya kukosa pesa, lakini sisi tuko sawa, game tunacheza vizuri, vijana wako sawa, hawana stress.
Now, Amar Shah and Malaika Kasio topped the leaderboard for junior golfers at the age of 14 after the end of the second edition of the East Africa Junior Golf Rankings Tour, which was held at the Windsor Golf Hotel and Country Club. Shah amassed a total of 144 points after 2 rounds to top the boys' standings, while Casio carried 170 points to lead the girls' category.
The second edition of the East Africa Junior Golf Rankings Tour culminated at the Windsor Golf Hotel and Country Club, bringing together 35 junior players from Thika Greens, Limuru and Karen. Amar Shah topped the boys under the age of 14 category after he carried a total of 142 points, followed by Ryan Njuguna, who amassed 155 points. Gitonga Gitobu finished third with 169 points. In the girls category, Malaika Kasio carded 170 points to take the lead, while Modoni Kioi finished second with 179 points. Abigail Ayuma was third with 196 points for the girls under the ages of 14.
The East Africa Junior Golf ranking has a very good future. We have seen the number growing. The first event we had here a couple of weeks ago, we had 25 kids playing from different schools.
Having to beat each other is very nice, and it's somewhere where I see myself. I once came from these sorts of ranks.
The tournament was launched in January 2026, establishing the first regional system for golfers under the age of 19. Frederick Moki for Prime Edition.
And Benfica manager Jose Mourinho says Real Madrid will be dangerous because of their dramatic defeat against its side in the Champions League last month, as the sides prepare to meet again in the competition. Real travel to Benfica tomorrow night with the return leg set for Wednesday, the 25th of February at the Santiago Bernabeu.
Benfica sealed their spot in the Champions League playoffs with an incredible 4-2 victory against Madrid. Benfica, who are third in Portugal's Primeira Liga, host the first leg of the tie at the Estadio da Luz tomorrow night, with the return leg set for next Wednesday. Real, meanwhile, are top of La Liga, 2 points clear of Barcelona in second place, and who play.
And Real Betis claimed a 2-1 victory over Real Mallorca in their Spanish La Liga game played at the Iberostar Stadium. Abde Ezalzuil struck early in the 18th minute before Cedric Bakambu doubled Betis' lead in this first half stoppage time. Vedad Muriki pulled one back for Mallorca in the 66th minute, but the host couldn't find an equalizer. In another game, Rayo Vallecano stunned Atletico Madrid by 3-0. Perez opened the scoring in the 40th minute. Oscar Valentin added another just before halftime, and Mendy sealed the win in the 76th minute.
And he's put the ball across. Quite a dangerous position. He's given away the ball there. Clement Longley. Ilias. Isi Balathon. What a save from Jano Black. Nothing he can do about it. Alvaro Garcia. Far post.
And that's the sport for tonight. Thank you for being with us on Prime Edition Sport. More coming your way tomorrow. My name is Daniel Ohome. Back to Irene.
Thank you, Ahome, for the sports bits. Earlier on, we had Betty Kiptum with the business news. And thank you, our audience, for your feedback and talking to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. Quick acknowledgements, mixed reactions on the story of the aviation strike, as well as the hunt for the Russian guy by the government. And quick acknowledgements, Michael Ouma, watching KBC Channel 1 from Kisumu. Samuel Mutua and William Kerr of Police Circle, watching KBC Channel 1 from the county of Nairobi. The list could go on and on. Thank you for keeping us company. Our sign language expert tonight is Anne Wangeshi. I am Muchuma Odim. Till some other time. God bless you.
Sahi, ukidial star 419 hash option 4 ama uingie kwa tushinde.com, hakuna probox. Jaribu.
Ni ukweli. Yaani nimeshaingia na ndio tunafieka.
Ya inaona iko ndani. Wanaongelea nini hao?
Ni shamba. Na sio moja, sio mbili, shamba 3.